Have you ever walked into a store, maybe just to pick up a few essentials or to treat yourself to something nice, and suddenly stopped in your tracks? You glance at the price tag, and it feels like the numbers have doubled overnight. It's a shock, right? You start to wonder what's really going on behind those rising prices. Maybe you've noticed that the cost of your favorite snacks, electronics, or even basic groceries has skyrocketed. It's not just inflation. Sometimes there's something else at play, quietly making everything more expensive. You might find yourself asking, who's getting fleeced here? Is it the store, the manufacturer, or is it me, the everyday shopper? The answer might surprise you. When it comes to tariffs, those extra charges slapped on goods imported from other countries, it's not just big companies or foreign businesses who pay. It's you, me, and pretty much everyone we know who ends up footing the bill, often without even realizing it. Tariffs might sound like a distant, complicated policy issue, but at their core, they're basically taxes on the things we buy from abroad. That means everything from clothes and electronics to food and cars can get pricier, all because of these hidden fees. Tariffs don't just make things more expensive. They can set off a chain reaction, a full-blown economic storm. We're talking slower economic growth, businesses struggling to stay afloat, rising unemployment, and families having to make tough choices about what they can afford. We're about to break down exactly how tariffs are quietly picking your pocket, one shopping trip at a time, and why it matters more than you might think. Let's talk about how tariffs can act like a chokehold on economic growth, stifling progress and making it harder for businesses to thrive. Tariffs are essentially taxes placed on imported goods, and while they might seem like a way to protect local industries, they often have unintended consequences that ripple throughout the entire economy. Picture this: businesses, whether large corporations or small startups, rely on a stable environment to make smart decisions. They thrive on predictability, needing to forecast costs, plan investments, and set long-term goals with confidence. To grow, companies need to know what their expenses will be, from the price of raw materials to the cost of shipping and labor. This clarity helps them plan for the future, hire new workers, and invest in innovation. But when tariffs are suddenly introduced or increased, it throws a wrench in the works. Suddenly, the cost of doing business becomes unpredictable, and companies are forced to scramble to adjust. When tariffs are slapped on goods, businesses face higher costs for everything from raw materials to finished products. This can mean paying more for steel, electronics, textiles, and countless other essentials. This uncertainty makes them think twice about investing and expanding. Instead of hiring more workers or opening new locations, they might hold back, waiting to see how things play out. And when businesses hesitate, the whole economy takes a hit. Fewer investments mean fewer jobs, less innovation, and slower progress for everyone. Growth slows, and we all feel the pinch, whether it's through higher prices at the store, fewer job opportunities, or a general sense that the economy just isn't moving forward like it should. Remember that price hike we talked about earlier? It's not just a random blip on your receipt or a one-off story in the news. It's part of a much bigger picture that affects nearly every aspect of your daily life. When you see those prices creeping up at the supermarket, it's not just about groceries. It's a sign of something deeper happening in the economy. That's inflation. It's the silent force that makes your paycheck feel smaller and your bills feel bigger, even if you're buying the same things as before. Inflation doesn't just hit one product, it spreads everywhere, making life more expensive for everyone. Tariffs are like fuel to the inflation fire. When the cost of imported goods goes up because of tariffs, those higher prices don't just stay at the border, they ripple through the entire supply chain, from manufacturers to retailers, and eventually land right in your shopping cart. Suddenly, everything from electronics to clothing to groceries costs more, even if it was made halfway around the world. That morning cup of coffee costs more. It's not just the beans. Shipping, packaging, and even the cup itself might be more expensive because of tariffs. What used to be a small daily treat now feels like a luxury. Filling up your gas tank feels like you're hemorrhaging money. Fuel prices are especially sensitive to tariffs, since oil and gas often cross borders before reaching your local station. Every extra cent at the pump adds up, straining your budget even more. And don't even get me started on that new phone you've been eyeing. Electronics are packed with imported parts, so tariffs can make the latest gadgets way more expensive than you expected. That upgrade might have to wait. Tariffs create a ripple effect, making everything more expensive and putting a serious dent in your wallet. It's not just about one product or one industry, it's about the cost of living for everyone, every day. The next time you notice prices going up, remember, tariffs might be playing a bigger role than you think. Tariffs also mess with interest rates. Here's the deal. When tariffs drive up prices, remember inflation? The folks over at the central bank start to sweat. They see inflation as a threat to the economy, so they try to cool things down by raising interest rates. But higher interest rates make it more expensive for businesses to borrow money, which can stifle investment and slow down economic growth even further. It's a vicious cycle, and we're all stuck on this roller coaster ride. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: job losses. Tariffs might sound like they protect domestic jobs, but in reality, they often do the opposite. When tariffs make imported goods more expensive, businesses that rely on those goods get squeezed. They might have to cut back on production, lay off workers, or even close up shop altogether. And it's not just those businesses that suffer. The ripple effect of tariffs can impact entire industries and lead to widespread job losses. Here's another fun fact. Tariffs can also drive governments deeper into debt. When tariffs slow down economic growth, which, as we've established, they do, governments collect less tax revenue. At the same time, they might feel pressure to increase spending to help those affected by the economic downturn. This combination of lower revenue and higher spending can lead to bigger budget deficits and, honestly, a mountain of debt. Remember the US-China trade war? That was a prime example of tariffs gone wrong. In 2018, the Trump administration slapped tariffs on billions of dollars worth of goods from China, and China retaliated in kind. The result? Prices for everything from washing machines to soybeans shot up, American businesses faced higher costs and lost market share, and both countries' economies took a hit. Then there's Brexit, the UK's very own tariff-fueled disaster. When the UK left the European Union, it also left the EU's single market and customs union. This meant new tariffs and trade barriers between the UK and its largest trading partner. The result? Delays at the border, increased costs for businesses, and empty shelves in supermarkets. Turns out leaving a free trade agreement isn't as easy as some politicians make it seem. Let's not forget about the tariffs on steel and aluminum imposed by the Trump administration in 2018. While these tariffs were supposed to protect American jobs, they ended up hurting more than they helped. American manufacturers who rely on imported steel and aluminum faced higher costs, making it harder for them to compete globally. The tariffs also led to retaliatory tariffs from other countries, further harming American businesses and workers.